Welcome to the Motoring Podcast, your weekly discussion of motoring news. This is episode 690 on Tuesday, the 9th of June, 2026. Hello, I'm Alan.
Hello, I'm Andrew. And this week you'll hear us ask if it's too little too late for one company. In new car news, you'll listen to us discuss the bare necessities. And in points of interest, you will want to rush off to the beach. And we jump straight into the news. And Alan, it is towards the beginning of the month, so that can only mean one thing.
Yes, it is time for the SMMT's new car registration figures for May 2026. In May, 160,662 new cars were registered. That was up 7.1% on May 2025, which I guess is a good thing. That makes it the highest registrations in the month of May since 2019.
Yes.
All in all, 66,223 registrations were petrol, 7,622 were diesel, 20,719 were hybrid electric vehicles, 42,931 were battery electric vehicles, and 22,167 were plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. That meant that petrol had a 41.2% market share, diesel had a 4.7% market share, hybrids had a 12.9% market share, battery electric vehicles had a 27.3% market share, and plug-in hybrids had a 13.8% market share.
Just for May, everyone, don't forget that. We're not talking year to date.
Just for May. Of those vehicles, 40% were privately registered, 57.1% were fleet, and 1.9% were business, which is a fairly heavy swing towards private as opposed to fleet and business.
Yeah, interesting.
Compared to what we're used to. The top models for the month. At number 10, the Hyundai Tucson with 2,194. Once again, the spread here is very, very thin due to the sheer number of models out there and available. Number 9, it's been a long time since one of these has been in the top models list, and that's the Vauxhall Frontera at 2,372. Number 8, the Volkswagen Tiguan. Number 7, the Mini Cooper. Number 6, the Volkswagen Golf. 2,637 registrations. Number 5, the Nissan Qashqai. And number 4, the Jaiku 7. 3,027 registrations. And number 3 was the Vauxhall Corsa with 3,075. Number 2, the Kia Sportage with 3,439. You can see that this is where we're starting to see the steps. And then number 1, the Ford Puma, 4,019 registrations.
Right, I'm going to take us to the spreadsheet of doom, which isn't very doomy, actually. So much so that I have to get all the way down to D to start, and DS is down 94%.
we joked about DS number 8 recently, about that being the number they'd sell. Well, they actually registered 9 DS in May.
Yeah.
In the UK.
Ford, despite the Puma being at the top of the most registered vehicles models, is down 19%. Genesis is down 31%. GWM is down 64%. Hyundai is down 16%. Ineos is down 45%. Jeep is down 37%. KGM is down 38%. Lexus is down 21%. Maxus is down 33%. 2025, they registered 3. In 2026, they registered 2. Again, sometimes percentages are a bit misleading.
Yeah.
Mazda is down 52%. That is a mighty chunk down, mind you. Nissan is down 30%, talking of chunks down.
And again, that's with the Qashqai in the top 10.
Yeah. Is the Micra actually for sale? Because I see tons of them waiting in my 2 local Nissan dealerships. Car parks are bulging.
I've seen a few on the road.
Okay. They must be being passed on to customers now.
One would hope so, yes.
Peugeot is down 17%, Seat is down 24%, and Subaru is down 40%.
It's not a lot from me either, because everything falls within our sort of 15% threshold of don't bother reading it out. But that said, Abarth up 176%, Alfa Romeo up 82%, to a healthy 290 registrations. Alpine up 844%. Again, ends up with a healthy number, 368. BYD up 70%. Citroen up 60%, 60%. JQ up 210%. Leap Motor up 863%. Remember, when your numbers aren't massive, then it's easy to get those. Sorry, I've just paused. I've just glanced at the JQ figures, right?
Mm.
The 7 was just about 3,000 registered, I think I've just read out.
Mm-hmm.
And they really only have 2 models, don't they?
Yeah. Because they've got a new one coming. The total number of registrations, well, there's a 5 as well, and then there's the other big one. Yeah, that's coming, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And in total, they registered 5,207. The 5 can't have been too far behind the 7.
No.
Really, in terms of numbers.
They must have just missed out in the top 10.
They must have just
top
missed
15.
out in the top 10. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Leap Motor up 863%, 944 vehicles registered. Starting to see lots of the bigger ones around here. Lotus up 52%. Yay! Maserati up 129%. Mini up 79%. Omoda up 85%. Smart up 76%. Suzuki up 45%. Tesla up 46%. And Xpeng up 1,250% to win the Not Sponsored by MG award.
Yes. Mike Hawes' statement at the end of this. Britain's car buyers are responding to a market offering more choice than ever, both from new and familiar brands, resulting in a robust May. The EV transition is progressing, but consumer uptake still lags behind even today's targets, let alone the ambition set out in the latest carbon budget. While industry shares the long-term ambition, the pathway to net zero must be credible. It cannot come at the cost of lost competitiveness and deindustrialization. A review of the transition is now urgent to ensure ambition matches market realities and we have a sustainable path to road transport decarbonisation. Now, in there, it was mentioned the carbon budget. And it is in this SMMT article that's linked in the show notes as ever, obviously. It mentions about how the 7th carbon budget came out last week from the government. And there is a section in it where it talks about their expectations and ambitions for how zero-emission vehicles, what percentage of the market share they're going to encompass by 2030. And they've decided that it's going to be 95% of new UK cars and the van market.
I think what you mean is they spoke to a proctologist with a torch who said that.
Because we have to remember the mandate states that for cars it is 80% and for vans it will be 70% in the year 2030. There's no way that, well, yes, of course there is a way it can happen. It can happen by no internal combustion engine or hybrid vehicles are sold. That is how it can happen. But to suddenly go from 80 and 70% up to 95% is just devoid from reality completely. This government is just, on this matter, is completely insane and is plucking figures from who knows where.
I don't know where these have come from, but they are just complete. They're just made up.
If you include hybrids, I can see that there is a chance that could happen. But if you're saying zero emission or EVs is what they're saying, EVs, no. Well, yes, like I said, you just cut off all other options.
But then are they doing the whole, well, EVs include plug-ins, hybrids, and...
No, I checked that out. It is
you did double check that. Sorry,
it is pure battery electric vehicles. It is not a hybrid. It's not a plug-in hybrid.
That's just made up. That's the nicest thing I can say about it.
Yeah.
That is me being nice.
Yeah. Anyway, let us move on, shall we?
Yes, please.
And I'm going to take us to Ford Europe. They have now outlined a plan to hit the comeback trail from whatever's happened in the last few years, which has been really...
You mean try to undo the last 5 years' worth of stupidity when it comes to model planning?
Yeah, the disaster that has been their product... we say product planning. The decision-making that has gone on. And they are going to apparently launch 5 cars in the next 4 years in the UK and mainland Europe, according to this Autocar article. There will be an electric It's called Fiesta, but they haven't decided on the name yet. And the CEO of Europe is very aware of how important the Fiesta name is, but still there is no confirmation in that. That is going to be a rebadged Renault. Let's not forget that.
It may or may not be a 5.
Yeah. And also, they are going to work with Geely on some hybrid SUVs.
As well as a Bronco Mini. Do you think that'll be based on the Renault 4?
No, because that's going to be... I'm sure that they're going to use some hybrid stuff from Geely with that.
Oh, okay, yes. The thing is, they could have had a Bronco over here years ago. The Bronco Sport sold in North America is based on the same platform as the Cougar. For those of you listening in American, that's an Escape. They could have had it. It would have sold here with the existing powertrains, based on the platform that was already sold in Europe. Why they did not bring that over is beyond me. But then it's Ford product planning, and Ford car product planning has, I don't know, 2-drink minimum, I think.
I think it's seances and Ouija boards, isn't it?
It's possibly a better reason than I can come up with. Yeah. Certainly wasn't sanity anyway.
Yeah, Ford are going to be targeting the B and C segments, obviously those ones that they left with their very popular cars.
That's just my point. Yes.
The Bronco name, that's going to be a sub-brand now, and that's going to be a global sub-brand because it's done well in America, so they reckon it'll do well everywhere. Okay, good luck with that.
There could be a house of Broncos.
Obviously, whoever the journalists were that were at this announcement have made some very pointed questions, because there's a lot of quotes in here from Jim Borbeck, who's the head of Ford Europe. Lots of things saying, whilst we may be using parts from other manufacturers' parts, they say, it has to feel like a Ford, it's got to look like a Ford, and it's got to drive like a Ford. And there's lots of talks about going back to driving dynamics, and there's going to be rally-bred crossovers, and they wish to be, and this was a quote that made me chuckle, thanks to the Bronco name, as well as the Bronco Sport and the Raptor variants for the pickup, the firm is focusing on becoming the Porsche of off-road.
Ask Porsche how that's going right at the minute.
Yeah.
I did notice this. They're going to launch a Super Duty variant of the Ranger pickup for use by emergency services in the military. It can tow up to 4.5 tons, payload of close to 2 tons. It's going to be more than the 3.5 tonner by the sounds of it.
Yeah, obviously the van division has propped up all of Ford Europe as much as they have been propped up.
That's what they've been focusing on.
Yeah, there's more stuff coming from them. There's a Transit City electric van which has been developed with JMC, which is a Chinese firm, and then like Alan said, the Super Duty variants. They'll
be developed for Europe, but those ones are not ones that are coming from somewhere else.
Oh, okay, right. European Super Duty.
Yeah, because it's based on the Ranger, not the F series.
Okay,
it's not an F250, for example.
The question is, will this be enough, or is it too little, too late? And are Ford just becoming a rebadging company? They're saying the right things, that they're going to make it feel like a Ford and be like a Ford, but I hope so.
I want your cynicism to be misplaced.
I'd love it to be misplaced.
Good. There's an awful lot of it around right now, so I hope so.
Okay, do you want to take us to Scotland then?
I'm already in Scotland.
So you bring us to you then.
Okay, you can come to me. MUNRO. We've talked about MUNRO a few times. They are a EV startup based down in East Kilbride, just south of Glasgow, and they're focusing on specialist electric off-road vehicles for defence and fleet use, essentially. They have been taking orders for the Series M since 2023. They are producing those orders where they employ between 20 and 30 people in East Kilbride, and they're starting to get customer vehicles out the door. They have, however, a new CEO and a new CFO, which is good. The one thing that is slightly concerning to us is that they are both ex-Arrival, and we all know what happened to Arrival. Now, I'm sure that Messrs. Rughuber and Holbrow were not the ones who decided that Arrival should have offices in the Cayman Islands?
Somewhere out there.
Somewhere in the Caribbean.
Remote office for remote work.
Remote office for remote work. And then started developing electric aeroplanes and all sorts of things before they'd even got a single production vehicle out of the door. So I'm sure it'll be just fine.
I hope so.
Yes, before that, Mr. Avanish Raghubar is the new CEO. Before that, he was head of strategy for General Motors' Cruise self-driving operation. His CV over the last few years is interesting and at a corporate level, not necessarily littered with success, and really, really hope that that's just been because of circumstance and everything roundabout, and that those circumstances and everything roundabout will not affect East Kilbride. They're a very cool company. They're doing a clever thing in a manageable, sensible, grown-up way. I really, really hope that continues.
Well, the announcement here of how they're planning moving forward looks sensible. It looks grown up. It doesn't look like it's overreaching at this point. They are certainly saying very much the right things that I would hope to hear, considering what MUNRO do.
It's worth saying, MUNRO, by the way, is what the Ineos Grenadier really should have been if it was a serious project. It's true, though.
Yeah, of course.
It's true that there is significantly more logic and significantly more Britishness behind this than there is in a single Grenadier. The Grenadier is British because it's named after a pub. There you go.
Westfield, who entered liquidation after going into receivership in 22, but entered liquidation in April this year, has now been bought by driving-fun.com, which is a European track day organizer and operates the circuit at Meppen, which is just over the border from Holland in Germany. And according to this Evo article that is linked in the show notes, there's a lot of changes on the way. They're going to continue to assemble in Bicester, which is where they are now, but they are building a new facility on the premises at Meppen, and that's where future Westfield production is going to go to. That will effectively be Westfield's base of operations, obviously, because that's where the owner is based. And they will, from there, provide parts support for the owners throughout Europe. And they have ambitious plans where they are looking to bring a number of new road and track models to join or replace existing models. And they will be built in Meppen too.
Mm-hmm. When you say it's just over the border, it's a factor of about 3 miles over the border, if even that far, to be honest. It is very, very close to the border. Absolutely the definition of a border town.
Well, I'm glad to see that Westfield is going to continue.
I thought Westfield was no more. I thought they'd already carked it. So this was good news to me, because I thought we'd already lost them. I think many of the other parts of formerly Westfield have gone, like the autonomous vehicle and the building the little... It used to be that the little pods at Heathrow Terminal 5 were Westfields.
Oh, right, okay.
All of that stuff seems to have gone, but, the sports cars continue.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you want to take us to the least secret bit of news that's been trundling along?
Even we've been talking about this for weeks, but CHERY has finally admitted in public that they and Nissan have signed a non-binding memorandum of understanding with a view to start building CHERY vehicles on the Wearside plant's Line 1 in the 2027 financial year. I end up having to read that from the Autocar article by Felix Page that's linked in the show notes, because I think that is the legal definition of what has happened.
Yes.
Rather than anything else.
There's no other details have really been released. We don't know what model they're going to build, what brand or anything like that. And it gets stressed again that this is a non-binding agreement later on in the article. So that seems to be a very important thing to reiterate.
It's very much a case of, sure, right at the moment, we're very interested in building.
Yep.
Yeah, that was just a quick one. SAIC, similarly, which owns MG, amongst others, it's looking to build a manufacturing plant in Galicia, in Spain, investing about 200 million euros. The aim is that it will create more than 2,000 jobs across Europe, and production is scheduled to begin in 2028, with an annual capacity of up to 120,000 vehicles.
Mm-hmm. No surprise there.
I just stole your story. I think that was the biggest surprise in that particular bit.
Yeah. Well, do you want to take back your guilt minute then?
I absolutely will. I should let you do it for a change.
Oh, no.
It is Guilt Minute, the quick break in the show where we ask for a tad of financial support to keep the lights on and the hosting running. If you feel the Motoring Podcast is worth a small consideration every month, then you can become a patron. The different levels of patron include different levels of commitment from us to you, including being able to watch the show recorded live. We also have a small range of merchandise in our spring store, from stickers to mugs and t-shirts. If you don't have any spare cash, and we do completely understand, then you can help us by following for free from a podcast player to receive every show as they're released, and by liking and rating the show in whatever way your podcast supplier lets you. If you've done all of that, and some of you do, so thank you very much, then the last thing you can do is to recommend us to your friends or colleagues. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who joined in, whether in person or remotely, with questions to the live stream, the question and answer, the second one that we did last week. That's available on YouTube in both vertical and horizontal formats, and obviously as a podcast as well, where we try not to say look too much. So it's available on all the usual podcast outlets. I think that means that on YouTube you can get it 3 different flavors.
Yes, you can. And thank you.
I should probably change the cover images for at least 2 of those.
Yeah, and thank you everyone who has sent kind messages following and during the show. Very much appreciated. And we
had a great time.
Look about doing another one fairly soonish, but we've got some other things we need to work out first.
I think they fairly well described when or what we were going to do it as part of that episode.
Yeah.
But then we're not quite sure the maths works out.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, do you want to take us to new car news and just make this the Alan Bradley section?
It is. I'm so sorry. Audi has unveiled the new Nuvolari, a limited run 987 brake horsepower V8 hybrid supercar. It's going to be a new flagship that's going to be more exclusive than the R8. And according to the boss, Gernot Dollner, serves as a statement for the future of the brand. The crazy bit here is that the Audi based on the Lamborghini is probably going to be more exclusive than the Lamborghini. But I think that this is very much, hey, we're going to build some essentially concept cars for the road. That looks to be roughly where this is sitting.
Well, this one ties in with, because they've named it after their semi-successful pre-war race cars, and they're just about to go into F1. So I think that's where the tie-up is here.
Semi-successful. That's a bit harsh.
Well, they won a couple of races, but then they had massive problems as well.
Okay.
It's a brutalist design, to say the least.
Yes. It looks like, I think it looks like a Spartan helmet. If you look that up, just, it's that kind of, that slot, that's almost tombstone of a little grill in the middle with the sort of eye slits either side. I think it's, you used to, steal Andrew's word here. He said striking beforehand, and I think that absolutely nailed it. Because it is striking, and I think it's probably showing off a future design styling direction for Audi. There are no unnecessary creases or slashy bent metal bits or any of these other things which have infested Audi models, cooking Audi models for the last little while. This is very much pared back and very much, as I say, a concept car for the road. I think it looks very, very cool and very, very distinctive.
I'm going to steal something from you and say that I need to see this before I make too much judgment, because like with the Concept C, I'm not a great fan of the front ends. I don't like that look, but I want, again, we're just using heavily processed images to make up our mind. I want to see one. I want to see it in the context of the world, and I want to see if I am right or wrong, because that's one of the things I feel I've learned over the last 10 and a half years is looking at an image and then seeing it in real life are very much two different things, and that can make my opinion change for good. Hello, Alpha, but also for bad.
It's very true.
But I do like the interior.
Yes. It is pretty smart looking thing. Just to go through some of the numbery stats, 4-litre V8 using a 10 Aereo, which offers 789 horsepower, 538 pound-feet of torque, and can rev to 10,000 RPM. Added to that are 3 axial flux electric motors, each of which produces 148 brake horsepower, Two are mounted in the front axle, delivering up to 1,500 and a bit pound-feet. The third is between the V8 engine and the transmission. There's a 7.3 kilowatt-hour battery, and the total system output is 987 brake horsepower, 80 brake horsepower more than the equivalent Lamborghini. There's enough power to power the Nuvolari to 0-62 in 2.6 seconds and onto 124 miles an hour in 6.8 seconds, top speed of more than 217 miles per hour. That's all quite impressive. There's brake-by-wire carbon ceramics that link in with regenerative braking that recharges the battery and all sorts of stuff, and means that it will probably... Well, no, I'm pretty certain if you stamped on the brakes, then the only thing stopping you from going through the windscreen will be your seatbelts. Just very cool. Cooling system increases heat dissipation by up to 21% compared to normal carbon ceramic systems. System can handle deceleration loads on par with an F1 car, etc., etc., etc. It doesn't seem that it's just an exterior styling exercise.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I am going to move us on then. Something a bit more
posh Volkswagen.
Subtle, though. And the Bentley Flying Spur has been updated. And the big thing that this Top Gear article goes on about, because obviously they were told this by Bentley themselves, is instead of there being twin headlamps in a four-door saloon, for the first time since 1962, there is only single headlamps at the front of this.
From the S2, my dad had one.
All right.
But by that time, they've got to being an old rusty car. Allied to the fact it was sand over sable. So it was tan over brown, which, to be honest, many people would get all excited about. In fact, I think we saw a Bugatti Veyron in essentially the same colour scheme in Geneva one year, sitting outside. And he's like, oh, I Bentley was that colour, which sounds far more impressive than his descriptions of the rest of the Bentley. Anyway, yeah, sorry, off on a tangent.
Well, so they've tightened up the design. I think it looks really good, really sleek. They've unfussied around the rear as well, so that looks quite nice. Obviously, it's a Bentley, so it's going to be lovely to sit in. There will be a V8 hybrid powertrain with 671 brake horsepower, 686 pound-foot of the torques. Then you can go up the... if you want to, because this is going to be the S. That's the specs for that. There's a limited slip diff, torque vectoring, twin valve dampers, all-wheel drive, blah, blah, blah. And then if you've got the spec, you can go to the Flying Spur Speed, and then if you want luxury, there's the Mulliner.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks really good, the colour they've picked here. I mean, I wouldn't have the black wheels, but the colour they've picked here is fantastic.
Well, the black wheels and everything is part of the Black Line specification, which is also something they've introduced on the S. You get black wings, gloss black grills, a dark Bentley lettering, black mirror caps, and dark tinted full LED matrix headlamps, and probably those black wheels as well.
Yeah, the wings on the bonnet bead will light up as well.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. This might have taken over from the previous generation Jaguar XJ long wheelbase as my vehicle to be driven around in if I decide to be an evil supervillain or CEO of a multinational corporation. Last one for new car news. Let's go from the sublime to it's not really very ridiculous at all, but it is the Fiat, okay, the name is ridiculous. The Fiat Grizzly SUV, unwrapped as the Grande Panda's bigger brother. It was pointed out it should probably be called the Giant Panda. Thank you. It will be available in the choice of petrol, hybrid, or electric drivetrains, just as every other Stellantis midsize SUV on the same platform. There will be two body styles. There will be a straight-edged SUV, which looks like the Peugeot, Vauxhall, etc. And there will also be a rakish fastback. For those of you who want something like BMW X4, but not as gopping, I don't know why you would choose that, but people obviously do. The whole idea of this is that it is an affordable family crossover, and it is designed for the three regions in which Fiat sells. Those are Europe, Latin America, and the Middle East and Africa. This is going to be something of a world car. The idea is that it completes the Panda and Grande Panda families, but is a different animal. Hence, it's almost a bear, but not quite. and that it's intended to bolster Fiat's, and I do appreciate this particular piece of honesty, revenue margins and brand as well.
Yes.
Same underpinnings as Citroen C3 Aircross, Vauxhall Frontera, etc., etc. I think it's quite attractive looking thing. Worth mentioning as well that come the end of the year, Fiat is going to be announcing some more models which aren't necessarily Pandas and aren't necessarily 500. This is going to be a bit of a shock to their system, isn't it?
Yeah.
Should be some interesting stuff coming through there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that takes us on to points of interest, and I have found not one but two lunchtime reads we are recommending to you from Driven to Right, back with that excellent website. And this is part 1 and 2 of Vamos a la Playa, and it's written by Bruno V. And, well, it wasn't French, so I think I'm remotely close this time.
Vamos a la Playa.
Nobody expects me to try and do the accent.
Okay.
I might get accused of cultural appropriation if I tried, or worse. But this is talking about beach cars. And there is a number of fantastic ones to be reminded of. This is sort of the history of the beach car, as well as where they were and all that sort of stuff. So we got things like the Mini Moke, as you would expect, the Fulks Impala, which, okay, as well as
a what?
Reliant Fox, that sort of thing. And then in part 2 goes on and visits France and starts going through some of the options that the French provided. Obviously, the Renault 4 Plein Air. Plein?
Plein.
Sorry.
Plein. You made an effort there, so it didn't matter.
Okay, thank you. That looks fabulous, but also the car system Belle Ile.
Yeah, I think so, yes. Yeah, that's close enough. I'll do.
Basically, a Renault, that's Renault 5, not Renault 4, isn't it?
That's what I said. Yeah, it's a Renault 5.
Because it says the open Renault 4.
Oh, it's a Renault 5.
It's a Renault 5 that someone's chopped the back off and put a soft top on.
But there was a Renault 4 Plein Air as well before.
Yeah, that's at the top of the article. So there's lots to have a look at, lots to suddenly go, yes, that would be good this summer.
You pointed out to me that there was also a Zest in there as well, if you want to know more about the Zest. Then also Driven had one for a little while.
Yes, it's a funky little looking thing.
It looks like a noddy car. It's an odd looking little thing. It's kind of cool, though, because the bits at the front are the same as the bits at the back, and it's kind of symmetrical.
But if you look at the very top of that part 2 article, I love the little roof that it's got over the top of it. That's not in the main bit about it.
No, it is very much a minimum viable car roof there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not even a bikini thing that they put sometimes on those tricked out Jeeps that go up Mojave. No. It's just mad.
There's lots of very cool stuff in here, much of which I'd sort of only tangentially seen pictures of and didn't know what it was, and ones which I'm far more familiar with. And part 3 coming out soon should be great too.
Yep.
List of the week this week. The best ever shooting brakes. Everyone loves a fast wagon, and in this story we're rounding up the very best you've ever been able to buy, according to Autocar.
For a change, there are quite a lot of actual shooting brakes, and then there's some estates that are being called shooting brakes in the modern age.
Yes, it's close enough. It's pretty good, even if you sort of had Noidle.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
What have you chosen then? I know what I've chosen.
Well, I nearly chose the second to last slide, but in the end, I went for slide number 12 in your packs, the Lancia Beta HPE.
Oh, okay.
Always loved this. Always loved the shape of this. Always wanted one. And, you know, if I just went and got a pile of rust and put it in the corner of my drive, I could have one.
You see, I wasn't going to make that joke because jokes about Lancias rusting too much, people get grumpy, but it was not. Yeah.
There's a reason why.
Yeah, a science teacher at prep school had one. And remember I talked last week when I chose the Lancia Delta. I talked about friends of my parents who had them. But prior to that, they had Betas, and I think one of them was an HP. Very cool thing. Way ahead of its time.
Oh, it looks great. Just looks great. How about you then?
I was going to describe that as a British Reliance scimitar, but without Princess Anne. My choice, actually, just one to the left of that, slide 11, which is the Lynx Eventer. I figured I'd go for one that people would know what it was, even if I just said it. But if you don't know what it is, then it was one of 67 Jaguar XJS shooting brakes with an extended rear and a hatch. And you quite often see them. Motorfest at Coventry used to see quite a few of them would gather. It just looks like it should be a factory vehicle, and it's beautifully finished, especially the later ones on the facelifted XJS, which used, all the same lights and everything. It just all integrated much better at the back of the hatch.
Yeah.
But yes, very cool car.
Yep.
And so nicely done as well. That's the thing, there are some in the list which are a wee bit tactiony.
Yeah.
But I only do that for the subtitles. But this is one of the ones which is, it looks like it should have been from the factory.
Yes, it reminds me of who's the coach builder designer at the moment that we've...
Niels van Rooij.
Yeah, it reminds me of his work that very much looks as though it's naturally part of the car and should have been a thing.
And it's curious that this list includes the other Tesla Model S estate, which I don't feel is as well resolved as Niels.
Yeah, agreed.
And finally this week then, Andrew.
Yes, and finally, what is becoming an annual event for us to mention, and it is the Hot Wheels Legends Tour is back for 2026. They have their entries open now, and they will remain open until the 3rd of July. If you think you have a car that could and should be made into a Hot Wheels 1 in 64 scale model, then you need to click the link that's within the Motoring Research article here to the Hot Wheels website. It's a special website for it. You need to upload 3 photos along with a description of what sets the car apart and go for it, because to be fair, the UK has had some cracking entries. Overall, one with the P1800 drag racer back in 2021.
Yes.
That was a great looking thing. There was a 3 Series last year.
That is awesome looking.
Yeah.
Really cool.
I love this when this comes round. It's a shame I'm not, because it's going to be judged at Carfest at Silverstone on the 29th of August this year. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make that. That should be great fun, especially as it's Carfest as well.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what gets nominated or gets approved.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And I love it. Even the global final.
Yeah.
From all around the world. It's just such cool modified cars.
It's the imagination is amazing. And the creativity.
Well, the creativity, and it's the fact that the different juries around the place all seem to nominate very, very different stuff. So it's so varied as well. It's not just like a row of modified 57 Chevrolets or whatever, or Trans Ams or something.
Yeah.
It's just all sorts of stuff, and that is added super coolness to the whole thing.
Yep.
Brilliant. Anything else for this week, or are we pretty much there?
I can't think of anything.
There's no parish notes this week, I don't think. Unless there's anything else, don't forget, folks, that between now and next week, you can give us any feedback and share your thoughts with the show at motoringpodcast.com, on Blue Sky, at Motoring Podcast, on Instagram and Facebook, and on the contact page of www.motoringpodcast.com, the hub of all our activities. Remember, you can support us financially via Patreon, and please leave a review and rating on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or however your podcast app lets you do such a thing. Andrew, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Best way to get in touch with me is if you search for Crack Windscreen on Blue Sky, or I am on LinkedIn under my full name. There'd be the ways to do it. And Alan, if people would like to get in touch with you personally, what's the best way for them to do that?
Definitely Blue Sky, where I'm at AJP Bradley. That's BradleyBradley.social. I'm on LinkedIn as well, should you sharing my opinion on shorts in the workplace today. There we go, talking about varied. We'll be back very soon, but until then, I've been Alan Bradley.
I've been Andrew Clues.
And safe motoring.